Before becoming one of the greatest drummers in the history of jazz, Buddy Rich, born Bernard Buddy Rich on the 30th of September 1917 in Brooklyn, New York, lived a childhood immersed in show business, but not initially through music. His journey into entertainment began long before he picked up his first drumstick, shaped largely by his parents and the vibrant world of vaudeville. Buddy Rich was born into a Jewish-American family of performers. His parents, Robert and Bess Rich, were part of a vaudeville act known as Rich and Rich. From an incredibly young age, Buddy was exposed to the stage. In fact, his first appearances in public were not as a drummer, but as a child performer in his parents' show. He made his stage debut at just 18 months old, which earned him the nickname Traps the Drum Wonder when he began to exhibit a remarkable sense of rhythm. By the time he was 4, Buddy was already being billed as a sensational child star. His natural showmanship and comedic timing made him a crowd favorite. He danced, sang, and performed sketches, showing a charisma that far exceeded his age. This early exposure to live performance not only developed his confidence, but also laid the foundation for the dynamic stage presence he would later exhibit as a bandleader and drummer. Although his musical abilities began to shine early on, his parents initially focused on developing his career as a general entertainer rather than a musician. He even appeared in short films and made a name for himself in vaudeville circuits. It was during this time that he became familiar with the fast-paced life of touring and performing, a lifestyle that would become second nature to him in his later musical career. Before Buddy Rich became one of the greatest jazz drummers of all time, his life was already shaped by rhythm, showmanship, and the spotlight. He came from a family of vaudeville performers and was immersed in entertainment from the very beginning. At just 18 months old, Buddy Rich was already performing on stage. Billed as Traps the Drum Wonder, he was a child prodigy who captured the attention of audiences across the country. His natural rhythm and charisma made him a sensation in vaudeville circuits during the 1920s. He danced, sang, and drummed with a level of confidence and showmanship that few adults could match, let alone a toddler. By the age of 4, Rich was already one of the highest-paid child entertainers in the United States, earning more than $1,000 a week, an incredible sum at the time. He toured with his parents in a family act, showcasing his talents and learning the ropes of performance and discipline in a demanding showbiz environment. However, despite his early fame, Rich's childhood was anything but ordinary. He never received formal music training, nor did he learn to read music. Everything he knew about rhythm and performance came from instinct, experience, and watching others. While most kids his age were in school, Buddy was on the road, in nightclubs, or on stage. He was often described as rebellious, independent, and fiercely confident, qualities that would define his future in jazz. He began to distance himself from the child star identity as he entered adolescence, becoming increasingly interested in music and especially drawn to jazz and swing, which were gaining popularity in the 1930s. Though vaudeville began to decline with the rise of cinema and radio, Buddy Rich's passion for performance never wavered. In his teenage years, he shifted away from dancing and singing to focus entirely on drumming. His incredible sense of timing, speed, and power behind the drums caught the attention of professional jazz musicians. By the time he was 18, Rich was already working with big bands and quickly gained a reputation as a force to be reckoned with. Rich's early life, shaped by vaudeville, gave him more than just showmanship. It taught him timing, adaptability, and how to captivate an audience, skills that would serve him well throughout his career. He never forgot the stage presence and energy of his early years, and it became a hallmark of his performances. In short, before becoming a legendary jazz drummer, Buddy Rich was already a seasoned performer, molded by the demanding world of vaudeville. His path to jazz greatness was built not just on talent, but on a lifetime of performing, improvising, and pushing boundaries, long before he ever joined a jazz band. By the time he was 18 months old, Buddy Rich was performing under the stage name Traps the Drum Wonder, showcasing his astonishing drumming abilities to live audiences across America. His exceptional timing, sense of rhythm, and showmanship stunned audiences, earning him national attention. Though these were mostly live performances in vaudeville and nightclubs, the growing influence of radio and television in the 1930s and 1940s provided new opportunities for talented young entertainers, like Rich, to appear in front of even larger audiences. Rich's first significant TV-like exposure came through short films and variety shows, some of the earliest precursors to televised entertainment. While full-scale television broadcasting wasn't widespread during his childhood, film shorts such as Melody Masters and newsreel-style features included acts like his. These were shown in theaters and became an early form of visual media that reached broad audiences, functioning similarly to television variety segments. One of Rich's earliest media highlights was in Hollywood's short musical films, where his drumming and performance style were featured. These performances, while not technically television, placed him in the same trajectory as the stars of the emerging screen era. His charisma on camera, combined with his musical precision, made him a sought-after young act. As television broadcasting became more accessible after World War II, Buddy Rich, now transitioning into a professional jazz drummer, began appearing on actual TV shows, such as The Ed Sullivan Show, The Steve Allen Show, and The Tonight Show. These shows were crucial in solidifying his fame, but it's important to note that long before these appearances, his foundation as a performer was deeply rooted in visual entertainment. Even before his music career truly took off in the big band era, Rich's early TV-like exposure gave him an edge in connecting with audiences. He knew how to play for the camera, how to captivate viewers, and how to carry a stage presence that few musicians could match. This combination of talent and early media experience made him not only a musical genius, but also an unforgettable showman.